Hi everybody, I hope that you are having a great day. I'm out here in the park. Decided to do another outside video. We're on X. So we're like at the end of X. We Today I'm gonna do chapter 23 and 24. Um, and how I do my Bible study videos is it's not like, I guess, like the norm that people do, but I think it should be done, this way a lot better. How I do my Bible study videos, well, I take notes from the Bible. I don't write it word for word all the time, but sometimes I will write it word for word. A lot of the times I'm paraphrasing, or I'm just writing down, like notes, like dotted notes that I take, and that's how I do the Bible study video. So that's how I do my Bible study videos. And we're doing chapter 23, 24 in Acts. And so we're just at the end. So we're just at the end of it. And we can finally be able to move on. I had to stop and talk a little bit because somebody was walking past. And I don't want people out of my business. But it's a nice view from here. I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see the water and the ducks in the view from here. It's quite nice. But anyway, chapter 23. Acts. So get your Bibles out, get your notes out. If you have any questions, comment, or you can send me a message, direct message me. If you have any questions or critiques, constructive criticism, and if you have anything that you want to say about whatever it is that I said, in this video, leave a comment. However, if you have anything negative or hateful to say, don't waste your time, because I won't see it and nobody else will see it, because YouTube removes, I got my video set for YouTube to remove those type of comments. And if I do happen to see it, I don't care. So I don't care about people that have anything negative to say, so it's not going to affect me. So yeah, don't waste your time or your energy being negative when you could choose to be positive. You'll feel a lot better if you did, if you chose to be positive. So Acts chapter 23. Paul was straight at the Sanhedrin and told them he fulfilled his duty to God in good conscience. Also, look back at my other video if you want to know what we talked about last, because I think mainly we talked about last that he was being set up. I believe Paul was being set up. They was trying to, yeah, it was like, yeah, they was trying to set him up and persecute him, put him in jail, and just because he was talking about Jesus. The Jews didn't like, at the time, the Jews at the time didn't like that Paul was talking about Jesus, and that they had killed him, but he lives, and that he's our savior. And because for years, like centuries, they had talked about Jesus coming, and they thought that it was going to be like, this huge spectacle, this huge show. And he did not come in that way. He came born in a manger with animals, and a filthy manger at that. So he came born not the way they expected him to be born, and then the life that he was living, they didn't expect someone like him to be Jesus. So
like 500 words versus 5,000. That's a big difference.
And so they just, they thought that they just thought, like, I guess in their minds, they thought he was going to be like this big superstar. Like how he's kind of like a superstar to us now, because he's been talked about and his story has been told so many times. But at the time, then, they just never thought he would come here and be so human. He was in a human body, and why people come in parks and play loud music, I don't know. It's like the park is a place to be, quiet and get away from all the noise of the streets. But you have people come here and start playing loud music. But anyway, that's off topic. But yeah, Jesus, came here, and he behaved so human. They talked about him so like bad, but talking about him did not stop his mission. It did not stop what he came to do. And they used to call him a drunk because his eyes were red. But honestly, in my opinion, I think Jesus may have, like, in his humanly body, and I think he may have had a type of probably a mental disability. This is just my opinion. I don't know. I'm not saying that, that he did or did not have it. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that it's possible because he was in a human body, and the human body is riddled with so many sins. But however, he is, he was Jesus, is Jesus, and he was healing people. He was doing all kinds of things, good things for people while here. But a lot of the disciples, a lot of the apostles had mental illness. They had depression. I think David, was it David? I think it was David that had them. He had mental illness too. Like, he had depression. Joseph had depression. So I would think that if the people before him had like depression and anxiety and probably worse than mental illnesses, I would think that he probably did too. That's probably why his eyes were red. Because people who have depression or insomnia or bipolar, their eyes will be red sometimes because they don't get a lot of sleep. They're thinking about things, and like sometimes the eyes can be red. And they describe Jesus as having eyes that was like fire. And I don't. So that's what I think it was. Like, some people say it because he would drink, or that he was drunk. I don't think Jesus got drunk. I think maybe he drunk wine, but I don't think he got to the point where he got drunk. Cause like, why would you? He probably did at some point. I don't know if he didn't or did not get drunk at some point in his life, but I don't think he did. I think that I think that came from mental illness, from whatever, because we don't know what his human side, like his human DNA, like we don't know what was in it. Like, although he's God or whatever, like it may not have affected him that way, but maybe he chose to experience that. So it's very possible that maybe he could have chose to experience mental illness in the human body, to better understand humans, because so many people have mental illness, and I would think that if I was trying to understand somebody, you would like try to walk in their shoes. So I think that maybe that's what he did, that he chose to, walk in our shoes. Okay, but we're gonna start on chapter 23. Paul looked straight at the Sanhedrin and told them he fulfilled his duty to God in good conscience. The high priest Ananias ordered those standing near Paul to strike him on the mouth. Paul told them God would strike them. He said they are a whitewashed wall, sitting there judging him according to law, yet they violate the law by commanding that he be struck. People standing near Paul said, how dare he insult God's high priest? Paul apologized and said he didn't know who he was, and it is written not to speak evil about the ruler of your people. He knew some of them were Sadducees and others Pharisees, and told them that he's a Pharisee, descended from Pharisees, and he stand trial because he believed in the resurrection of the dead. And resurrection of the dead, was unbelievers becoming believers from death to life with God. When he said this caused an argument between the Sadducees and Pharisees. I may not be saying the word right. The Sadducees believe there is no resurrection and there are no angels, no spirits, but the Pharisees believe that there is. And the Sadducees was a Jewish sect, and they denied, resurrection of the dead, existence of spirits, and they believed in the written law more than any spiritual law. Wait, I got heavenly light shining on me? Oh my gosh, look at that. Anyway. And the Pharisees was a Jewish sect. They observed traditional and written law. So they believed in the resurrection and spirits. Teachers of the law, Pharisees, said that Paul did nothing wrong because a spirit or an angel could have spoken to him. It became so violent that the commander thought Paul would be harmed, so he ordered troops to take Paul by force to the barracks. And the barracks is a house for soldiers and prisoners. That night, the Lord stood near Paul and said, "Take courage, as you have testified about me in Jerusalem, so you must also testify in Rome." The next morning, more than 40 Jews took an oath to not eat or drink anything until they have killed Paul. Now, see, they up there trying to fast and do evil, you know. Whether they believed what Paul was saying was right or not, the fact that they took it so hard to want to kill him, it's like, that was demonic. It's like the ones that wanted to kill Jesus, like, that was just demonic. Like, whether you believed he was the Son of God or not, like, what would make you want to kill him because he believes he's the Son of God? Like, why would you, what would make you want to kill somebody because they say that, you know, if he want to believe it, and if other people want to believe it, like, what harm is it to you? But I think more so that they didn't like, the priest at that time didn't like that someone was coming and correcting them, because they for so long been like honored, like they've been like honored among the people, and so people just took what they said, as godly all the time. And so I guess here comes Jesus, correcting them and teaching them, and they took offense to that instead of being humbled and taking the lesson and realizing that they're just men. And I understand that you're just not gonna believe anybody who come and say that they the Son of God, but he not only said it, he proved it. He was showing them that he was the Son of God. And the more he showed them, the more angry they got, because he was proven to be right. He was proving them that he's right and they're wrong, and they didn't like that. And it's people like that to this day that still feel that way. And that night, the Lord stood near Paul and said, "Take courage, as you have testified about me in Jerusalem, so you must also testify in Rome." The next morning, 40 Jews took an oath to not eat or drink anything until they have killed Paul. They told the Sanhedrin their oath and to ask the commander to bring him there, just so they could get more information about his case. They were lying. They wanted to kill him. So they came up with this plan to just take him out because they didn't like what he was saying about them and about Jesus being the Son of God and Savior. The son of Paul's sister heard what they was planning and told Paul. Paul called one of the centurions to take his nephew to the commander to tell of the plot. He told the commander, and the commander told him not to tell anyone else. The commander ordered Paul by letter, and under the protection of 200 soldiers, 70 horsemen, and 200 spearmen, to be taken to Caesarea at 9 p.m. Paul was provided horses so he could be taken safely. In a letter, the governor Felix of Caesarea, Paul's accusers were ordered to present their case against Paul to Felix, and Felix accepted it. So that's the end of chapter 23. Chapter 23 and chapter 24 is kind of short, so it wasn't that much note taking on these chapters. But yeah, it's just sad because people still feel, there are people that feel this way today, like they don't want to be wrong and they don't want to be proved wrong, and they will try to kill you if you prove them wrong. Like, it's just people out here that just have those type of courts. I see somebody coming towards me with a dog, and I hope he don't let this dog come over by me. 'Kay. Okay, so now we're on chapter 24. And still the next. Five days later, High Priest Ananias. Sometimes I just don't pronounce the names right, but you get what I'm saying. If you read along with me, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I say to get out the Bible and read it along with me while I'm doing the Bible study video, so you can take notes. And also, if I butcher a name, you'll know what name I'm talking about. So, chapter 24. I'm trying to wait till these people pass me by. But I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see the view. It's a nice view from here. Chapter 24X. 5 days later, High Priest Ananias went down to Caesarea with some of the elders and a lawyer named Tertullus, and they brought their charges against Paul. Tertullus began with flattery to Felix and began saying Paul was a troublemaker, stirring up riots among Jews all over the world, saying he's a ringleader of the Nazarene cult, tried to desecrate their temple, and so they seized Paul because of that, and other Jews there joined in the accusations. The Nazarene cult was early Christians that some Jews called a cult. Like they called early Christians the Nazarene cult. They called them a cult. Well, the Jews calling the early Christians a cult. And yeah. Paul replied by acknowledging Felix's position and said he went to Jerusalem to worship. His accusers did not find him arguing with anyone at the temple or stirring up crowds in the synagogues or anywhere. He said they cannot prove the accusations. He says he admits to worship the God of his ancestors as a follower of the Way, and the Way was an early Christian group at the time, which they called it sect, and some people at that time called it a cult. But you know, it wasn't a cult, but But he believed everything that, and Paul said he believed everything that is in accordance with the law and that is written in the prophets, and that he believes as they believe, and there would be a resurrection of the righteous and the wicked. So he strived to always keep his conscience clear before God and men. And when he say, he was following the law, he means the spiritual law that they followed. The religious people had a different law than the non-religious people. The Jews had their own set of laws, and so he was saying that he acknowledged their laws. He goes by their laws. He haven't broke any of their laws, is what he was saying. Paul said he was absent from Jerusalem for several years, and so went to bring gifts to his people, the church, and for the poor, and to present offerings. And I'm assuming that he was. And I'm assuming that he was presenting offerings at the Jewish temple. Paul says he was ceremonially clean as he did this. There was no crowd with him. And he said, nor was he involved in any disturbance. He said that there are some Jews in the province of Asia who said, so Paul said that there were some Jews in the province of Asia who should be there before Felix and bringing charges if they had something against him. He says they have no charge against him except his belief in the resurrection of the dead. Felix knew about the Way. The Way is the Christian group that the apostles started after Jesus went back home, went back to heaven. So Felix knew about the Way and said when Lysias, the commander, comes, he will make his decision. And he ordered Paul to be protected, yet allow some freedoms so his friends can take care of his needs, like give him food, water, and whatever else he needed. I'm assuming medical attention too, maybe, I don't know, because he was getting beat up, so I don't know if he needed medical. I don't know if my foot hit the thing and made the phone flip. Yeah, I don't know if he needed medical attention because they was like beating him up a lot. So his friends probably was bringing him medicine and stuff along with food and water. Several days later, Felix came with his wife Drusilla, who was Jewish, sent for Paul, listened to him as he spoke about his faith in Jesus. As Paul talked about righteousness, self-control, and judgment to come, it frightened Felix, so Felix told him to leave. At the same time, he was hoping Paul would ask for a bribe, so he asked for Paul to come to him frequently to talk with him. After 2 years, Felix was succeeded by Porcius Festus, but because Felix wanted to grant a favor to the Jews, he left Paul in prison. And so that's the end of chapter 24. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 24. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about what I read so far. I hope you enjoyed the outdoor video. And y'all know what else to say, so I'm about to go walk because I'm still doing my 100-pound journey. And it's definitely been a journey because I would say I started last year with the weight loss stuff. I lost some weight, not as much as I wanted to lose, but I lost some weight. And then it kind of was going up and down. Then when I really got into, trying to lose the weight, I get the flu. So I had got the flu, and I got it. I really think I got the bird flu, to be honest, because that was going around. And so I couldn't do nothing but rest and take care of myself until I got better to walk again and exercise. So now that the weather is good, I'm out here in the park to walk and exercise. There's a lot of people outside walking and exercising today. I wish I had a bike. I had a bike last year, but I'm gonna get me another bike to be on the trails, so I could tone up and lose some of this chunk. But so yeah, also follow my videos on that too, because I'm make a separate video about my weight loss journey. I'm still trying to get a little bit of my voice back. But so yeah, that'll be a separate video, and I also may do another separate video, like a mini sermon or something. But yeah, till next time, peace, love, hair grease.